So, so nice to see you again.
Yeah, likewise.
um, so, it would be so nice to talk to you again about this the whole experience you have and your insights and all your ideas that you have and what you did in lockdown because I think it's very inspiring.
Oh, thank you so much. Of course, yeah.
So, just tell me what lockdown started in America. What time did it start for you?
hmm I think it started in the middle of March.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, around that time, everything started to close off.
And for you, what did you have projects that you worked on at that time?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We had a lot of like live concerts scheduled, a lot of private events, and most of them they started to be canceled, little by little. And so we didn't found ourselves in being locked down for so long.
Yeah, that's the thing that people also say is that the fact that they were cancelled and not postponed. Not many were postponed; they were just basically cancelled. Was that the same for you as well?
Yeah, most of them, especially like at most of the professional orchestras I work, most of them were just canceled because people at that time especially lived in the state of certain expectation of not knowing exactly what's going to happen next.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so over the summer, how was the lockdown? How's the lockdown in America over the summer? Did you have sort of time to have little concerts or things?
In general, I would say not as many, and probably like very little amount. But luckily for us, there are different other opportunities because people still um, have the desire for listening to classical music and other genres of the music. And luckily for us, there are like such great technology as Zoom. A lot of my friends did concerts on Zoom, and I did like Facebook Live events, and I think a lot of it shifted towards creating content, like recording things. So, for example, looking in the future, like like a lot of companies, they just changed their focus completely to let's say recording, just doing like twice or three times more projects with artists at that time.
But how do you think, if it starts to become online and streaming and things like that, how do you think that would affect artists? Because I mean, ideally, you would like to be performing live.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think that anything can really substitute the connection we have while we're playing on stage in front of the live audience. But meanwhile, I think that's like one of the choices we can make to stay productive. Just connect with people online, and I know how tired everyone is already from the screens and seeing like the squares, different people.
Mm,
Just
mm,
well, hopefully we'll get back to playing in front of the live audience very soon.
mm. Do you think this motivates artists a little bit? Even if it's online or streaming, that they just think, okay, well, it's something like a project. We'll do this. Do you think it's in that sense the motivating part of it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure it is. It's motivating for me for sure. I can speak about myself in this case, but also it's just as any project, we as musicians looking forward and preparing, staying in shape, which is very important. I know that a lot of people also do certain like challenges on Instagram, for example, like 100 days of practice, which is also good, like to stay motivated. But also another way of raising certain money or like raising money for certain charities which help musicians in these difficult times. And I'm going to do one of them myself to play to raise money for musicians in need in the middle of April. I'll do one of the
Okay.
concert
What
presentations.
what charity is that, or what is this that you will do?
It will be a live stream event, which my friend Alexandra, she's she's also from Philadelphia. She decided to start these events where they have live stream every Wednesday, where people can come and share either their personal projects or like play something, and by doing that raise money to help musicians in need. So I'll be doing one of those projects, and it's Philadelphia based project.
Okay.
um, I honestly just uh, don't remember exact the name of it. That's so I just don't say
Mm.
it. Otherwise it's a great idea.
And then also, do you think that uh, because you say, okay, you think people are tired of just the screen, but do you think artists are now thinking uh, more creatively, like how can we do this on screen, so that it's, so in the beginning it was just putting it out there, but now maybe in a different way?
No, absolutely. It's there is a lot of creativity in it, a lot of creativity in creating music digitally. Let's say working with different workstations, like digital audio workstations, and also creating videos. I think also can be very very creative because just having these skills, personally to me, gives a lot of control over the output, like what I get out of it, like what I can create and what I can share with the audience.
Mm. But you've also started recording or sound engineering, or
Yeah,
what did
yeah,
you tell me the last time? Yeah.
yeah. That was one of the things I always was curious about, and I think what's great about this whole thing, like what you can get out of it, is new skills we can learn. And for me, was I've always wanted to start producing electronic music. I just liked like dance music, and I think just the feeling of being on stage and connecting with people who having great time is something very special, and what gives me a lot of joy as well. And I always wanted to learn how to do it, so and I just started to take classes, just started to do it as much as I could, and I fully learned sound engineering in that regard, and I'm currently working on two new tracks, which I'll release in about 2 months, just because I'll need to prepare release. But yeah, like, and it completely changed my perspective on um, musical projects, because before I would just consider myself as a performer, and after learning sound engineering and production, I realized how much control we can have as producers, and how much that affects the sound, and how much of importance that position uh, has.
Okay, so it's really stepping in somebody else's shoes now, and or seeing how you can do it.
Oh, absolutely, because there is absolutely endless opportunity for working with the sound. And um, if before I just view the sound as so there is my part, there are like other parts and how they interconnect. There is the sound, there is intonation, but also after during this time, like my perspective on the sounds in general changed from everything being a sound and everything is potentially being a song in a way. And
Yeah.
every sound made from like 20 kilohertz to 20,000 can be something.
But now in America, I hear that you are not funded by the state, but private organizations. So now in the time, and you're talking about this charity event that you're raising money for musicians that, so these freelance musicians then that
Mhm.
have difficulties.
Yeah. Um, I guess some people still have unemployment, but I guess it's not really enough for some people. Maybe like didn't apply for that. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Like most of the orchestras, they privately funded
Okay.
by private donors, and probably the same thing in Europe. I'm not sure though. Um, let's say in the brochures, we would get like at the concert hall, there would be a list of donors, like people like
Mhm.
making like 1 million donation, like after less and less. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you think in America, what is the feeling, or how do artists feel? Do they feel valued?
I think in a way, yes, it's in a way it's like a fair market, and it's just there's like not that much demand probably at this moment for live performances due to circumstances,
Mm,
the pandemic. But otherwise, yeah, absolutely. We just have to make ourselves very valued and very important in a way, just to
mm,
work on our craft. And yeah, I always look at what I do is if, for example, I didn't get the position somewhere, like I audition, I'm not good enough, and I just have to improve and just like keep after it. I know how hard it is and frustrating because you work so much on it, but it's just the profession we choose, and that's what it takes to become somebody and to win in music industry because there's like a huge competition as anywhere.
mm. But do you think in this time now, artists should reevaluate, for example, that they not that they cannot just rely on being a violinist or in a pianist? It's that they have to think, okay, I'm going to have to look more in a business with a business mind or a marketing mind, or how can I market myself, or how can I take control over my music so that I take control of what I record, how I put it out there. Like authors now doing self uh, publishing. That musicians should also start looking in that direction.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's what we are forced to do. That's what we logically would need to do during the normal times. Not to rely on certain organization to take care, or government or anything, and just create either a skill or like sets of skills which will be absolutely unique and absolutely different. But yeah, and I I take this time as an opportunity to learn a lot and to like really improve myself, because like at some point the pandemic will end, and all the knowledge we can get, like, and what we can get do with this time, right? We can learn so much. There's just endless amount of things we can learn, and endless amount of classes are available. And I think like these days it's all about the choice what we spend our time on and what we fill our mind with, because we can fill our mind with news, with negative emotions, or we can fill our mind with uh, focus on what really matters, and learning things which really will help to move us forward. And I think it's a good thing, and it's a difficult thing at the same time, because it's in this situation it's very easy to uh, put our head down and be upset. But again, like my personal view is that it comes from outside in the way of the way our brain works and the way we make decisions. So we can make ourselves happy, we can make ourselves sad, and yeah, I think that's just something we all need to learn as musicians, business side of it. For example, like let's say if you're um, owner, or if you create something, how you get royalties, how you if you do covers of the song, so like if you record certain things, how you release them. And it's not difficult, it's actually pretty easy. Like even if you just type something in Google, you'll find so much information and so many YouTube videos where people will explain it to you like under 5 minutes. And it's, I think it's just all about just going after it, just taking an action, and not giving up, and just not not agreeing with what's happening and well-being. Yeah, like I can create my own reality in that way. But
Mm.
that's what we, I think, have to do to stay afloat, and to be able to use this time productively. Sometimes it's difficult for me myself, and those times meditation helps a lot, and working out helps a lot. Physical exercise is one of the things which helps me to move forward in those moments.
So in a way, if you look at this time, would you say that, um, I mean, of course, we're still in this time, so we cannot say it's good times, but so you can already see the positives that came out of this, or that will come out of it for you.
Oh, absolutely. It's, I already see it. And
Okay, yeah.
it's like anything, like the most difficult time in our lives most of the time is the most productive time and the time which brings the most fruit at the end.
Mm. But listen, Alexander, how did you start off in music?
How I started. Okay, so I was 5 years old. I come from the family of musicians. My
Mm.
parents are professional musicians, and my mom is professional violinist. So um, when I went to the music school, I started to play drums and the violin first, and I really liked playing drums. But because
Mm.
my mom is the violinist, she was like, "That's what you'll play."
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I became the violinist. But really
Nice.
started to enjoy playing music, enjoy melodies, interpretation, and phrasing, and all the beautiful things which come with playing the violin around my teen years.
And but when did you start to realize now I'm going to be a professional musician?
You know, still realizing it.
Oh, okay.
It's the process.
Well, that's the best answer I've ever. So I can't ask you if you ever doubted. So because
Yes.
oh, this is so good. Um, yeah, because it's interesting for me how people start, and but you say you come from a musical family, so it's that you were from a young age sort of exposed to that.
Hmm. Um, yeah, when just appreciation, I think, comes a little bit later, especially with such difficult instrument as violin, where even to make like a decent sound, it takes so many years and so much practicing. And also,
Mm.
that so many things evolve with the setup of the instrument, which can make it difficult at the beginning to play. And I think I'm very grateful to my parents that they forced me to practice and forced me to play, because understanding of that comes with development of the intellect, I think.
I think sometimes that's also the thing that happens to children who start playing an instrument, that you think, okay, um, you go to the lessons to have the violin lessons, but you should also, the child should also be taught how to practice, or helped to get the motivation to get on to practice. And I wonder, yeah, that it's interesting to say that you say your parents motivated you, or to practice.
Yeah, they mostly they just practice with me, and in a way like sometimes forced, but um, that's just unavoidable, because I think if I
Mm.
would do it just when I would be down to do it, or like when I would feel just like happy, oh yeah, like I'm in the mood, like
Mm.
I would never
Mm.
get to the results I have now. It's like I
Yeah.
have a lot of friends who are professional athletes, and for them it's like, yeah, you just work. You just go there, you do whatever you need to do to move forward, and you'll probably like it like 10%, 15% of the time, the process itself. But
Mm.
like, of course, like being on the stage, and let's say being in that space, like when you play the game, because like I also like very connected to the athletic part of myself, and play ice hockey as well. I think
Oh,
that's
ice hockey. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Mm.
Yeah, and I think that what really like pays off, like when you being in the game, or like you being on stage and you do great, and that's kind of becomes addictive in a way.
Mm.
But yeah,
That
like I
sounds.
think, um,
Mm.
just to also answer like another part of your question, to when kids start to play, like I recently realized like what's the most important job of any teacher is to make a student, or to show the student how to love the process and how to love it, how to love the music. And I think when that thing happens, there is like nothing what will stop a student from progressing and being great. When there is love to the craft, and love to the process, and to the thing we teach.
Mm. I'm thinking a lot about the education system now, and also if we should change the education system and make art part of the main subjects, like science, maths, that art be taught alongside it. What do you think about that? And I'm
Yeah,
not talking about just specialized schools. I'm saying the norm.
yeah, I absolutely agree with you, because if you like me thinking about the future and the way things are developing, um, with like the much broader use of artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and all the processes, it's inevitable that most of the jobs will be done by computers, like much more effectively by yeah. And but I think like what computers won't be able to do in the nearest future is the creativity, like in a way, especially like in a way of performance where it's slightly different. It's like really live, and that's what's beautiful about live music and live performance, because on the same performance is not gonna play it exactly the same, um, not a day, let's say, from
Mm,
the digital
mm.
performance. And yeah, I think it's very very important. In a way, it develops both parts of the brain. In a way, it develops the perspective on the things, but also it teaches persistence and many many other skills which come with it.
Yeah, I also think that that perseverance side of it, and that it's not instant. That you just don't pick up the violin and 2 years later you're a violinist. That it really has, it's like you say, also that there's a teacher who takes you through this process, and that children also learn that process, and that not that they become musicians, all of them, but that they have at least that experience and that way of expressing themselves. Because I think also that is a great part of it, is that how to express yourself, through art, for example.
Absolutely. Also,
Mm.
I think it teaches how to connect with other people, because we at some point we play music together, and it really teaches empathy. Um, because like to get somewhere, we have to go through the process ourselves, and I think it makes us more understanding of other people. But also like expressiveness in music, like how to um, create sort of feeling and put it in sounds to make other people feel certain way at the moment, is absolutely powerful, which is also can be connected with empathy. And empathy will be like, I think it's like number one skill um, which makes somebody successful in what they do.
Mm. Yeah, I really think that artists are the best equipped for this time, for this
Yeah.
pandemic, for this lockdown situation. Because of course, I mean, there I can see already with you, you immediately started thinking, okay, what can I do? So there's this problem solving idea um, that you immediately, when something happens, and I think this might come from the fact that say you've done an audition and it didn't work, and like you say, you have to just get up and do it again, and or try something different, or also this perseverance and this belief in yourself, and self-motivation, and seeing the future, or seeing or having the dream and working towards it. I think all these things, if you look at all these, I wouldn't call it, I don't know if you can call it skills, but it's something that develops by doing an art. You find that with dancers as well.
Hmm.
And I think if we could um, give children the opportunity to develop these skills, then of course, even if they don't become musicians and they're in the workplace, those things will be then applied, what through what they've learned by doing art.
Absolutely. And I know that there were like so many studies done on how the arts and how the creative processes affect brain, and it really has a possibility of curing depression in a way, and it changes certain pathways in the brain and really gives people an outlet, especially now when, let's say, we're surrounded by information, by notifications, but by like responding, which gives people a lot of anxiety. And when if somebody would take like a time to paint, say 1 hour, it would, I think, have like absolutely incredible positive effect on the brain and their life in general, just because you take this time for yourself to reflect and to create something.
Yeah.
The
I
same thing.
also, mm, I also saw a study that they've done in Germany where they actually put sensors on the brain of the musicians, but they also do the same with the audience. And the audience experience actually the same effect. And it's the hearing of music as well. And I think in this time, especially now in this pandemic, that it's really important that we acknowledge that we acknowledge that, you know, scientifically we're looking at health and we're looking at how to cure this or how to prevent this, but then that we look in on the other side as well, that how we can use art, for example, to also not just uplift people, but you know, the effect that it has on, say, music, the effect that it has on the cells of the body, that it might be that it also has something to do with our immunity, you know, and things like that. So that there will be now also more research done to see that we are not just you know, this simplistic humans, that we only need the medicine or the vaccination or you know, but that there's more that could keep us healthy, for example.
Absolutely, I absolutely believe so. There's just so many layers to that.
Mm, yeah.
Our brain is
I
probably one of the most powerful things, which can make
yeah,
us feel down, which can make us feel up as well.
yeah.
Of learning how to control it.
But listen, you've done now this sound, was it a sound a course in or study in sound engineering?
It's sound engineering, yeah, and
Sound
music
engineering.
production.
Oh, and music production.
Yeah.
But was there something else you did completely out of the ordinary that you've never had time to do, like baking or cooking or?
Uh, I've done a lot of working out and like learning new things, and I recently started to do more boxing and Muay Thai just because I really want to have the flexibility. Just because
Ah,
now there's like not that much time uh, for like training ice hockey, and a lot of rinks are closed. Um,
yeah.
but mostly like for me was learning about finances, learning about cryptocurrency more, because that's definitely the future and the way things
Mm.
work. Reading a lot, getting back to painting, and yeah, so that
Oh,
was like
are you
another.
paint? Do you paint as well?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I went to the art school for some time, and
Mm.
so in my current project I'm working on, I'll be drawing the art for my new releases of
Oh,
the,
wow.
I guess, of the new songs.
Oh, this is amazing. Wow. Oh, I found this so great that you do it yourself. So you will be actually producing and doing the artwork and everything
Yeah,
for this new. Wow. Yeah, that is very inspirational. But listen, where where can you send me links and or something? Do you have something to show? Then I can put it on the um on the
absolutely.
description.
Yes, I'll definitely share it on my social media. I'm still working
Okay.
on finishing the tracks, and I'll release it in about 2 months, just because I need to prepare the
Oh,
release
okay. Oh,
properly. And but like as soon as it will be done, I'll definitely share it on my social
yes.
media. And if everyone is interested, they can follow me like on my
Yeah.
Instagram, Alexandr.Kislitsyn. Uh, um, that's my name there, and I'll send you the link as well, so you can share it with people.
Okay. Oh, I will definitely. Yeah. But tell me, Alexandra, what is your wish for the future, for when this is all over?
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, yesterday I was driving and thinking, just imagining um, like the full concert hall or other venue with people who came to listen to my original music. It was
Oh,
like absolutely incredible feeling. So that's what I would ultimately want to do, and of course, like just keep playing and recording classical music. So that's
okay.
another thing. But I think writing, like if I would choose to do one thing, I would just spend probably 16 hours of my day in the studio writing and creating, because that's what really makes me forget about the time, and I completely forget, like even, oh, I need to eat or something. You know, just when
Oh,
you're
okay.
in the process, it's like no
Yeah.
distractions at all. Like, and um,
Mm.
yeah, and we just, by the way, recently finished the second CD with Parma Recordings. I During this time I became a member of Trio Casals, so I'm a new violinist
Oh,
there. And
wow. Mm.
yes, and the release of our first CD, which we recorded in August of
Mm.
previous year, will be available on March 16th.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Yeah. And then, but do you think audiences will be hungry for performances, for live performances? Do you think audiences there will be more or different audiences?
I think that it will be very hungry for live performances.
Okay.
I myself, I love going to live concerts, and doesn't have to be a specific genre. Like I love rock, metal, like EDM concerts, and I really look forward for everything to open up so I can go and enjoy, because it's a different experience. So
Mm,
that's what I would love to do. And as soon as I finish writing, let's say there's like two or three new tracks, and I'll try to push them and see how it goes, and if people like them.
mm. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, I think I personally also think I think no one it comes through out of this pandemic unchanged. I think we all, just like, musicians have started doing different things. I think audiences also, people, and maybe now with all the online streaming and contact basically with artists, that maybe this would also create new audiences. People who previously wouldn't have been interested now suddenly know more or have seen more, more a different contact with the artists.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I absolutely hope
Mm,
so.
yeah.
I hope that will be the case.
It's a wish. I always think if we just say the wishes, then it's out there. Then they just might come true.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think that's just the way it
Mm,
is. Also, this
yeah.
time is so great that we can just reflect on our whole life. Like
Mm,
I was thinking a lot about my life like previously, and I love where I'm at now. Like um, I've made some decisions which, so I used to play with the band, let's say, and we produced like a lot of music, but I just felt that I needed to quit like playing, let's say, with guys, and I absolutely adore them and love what we do, in order to for me to be able to give a shot at what I truly love and what I truly want to do. And the same thing, like I just recently was like a few months ago, like quit to other jobs which paid well. I was like, well, I just really want to try. I think that's just
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
to try to do
yeah.
things I absolutely passionate about and I absolutely love. And I'm sure that everyone had this time for themselves, like probably first time in their life, not just looking back and thinking, wow, like I have the time, and sometimes it can be uncomfortable to be with myself and to understand myself and to learn from myself and about myself, which is very, very important. Which can like change the whole trajectory of our life, like the way we make decisions and what we do in life, whom we surrender ourselves. And I think that's
Yeah.
great.
I hear that so many times and also people say, it was such a rush everywhere the whole time, and that's this calming down and this just, reflecting on all these things and how they live their lives and how they want to live their lives. And it's, almost back to basics, almost this feeling, I think, of back to basics and then reevaluating. So Yeah, I totally agree with you. Um, and I wonder what you think of this. I have this thought sometimes. I think, well, if you thought of what's the worst that could happen, well, I'm not talking about a war, but I'm talking like this type of thing. We think like, my God, is this really real? Is this happening? In the beginning when this started. And now I wonder if we would be more daring, or if we would think, you know what, we've come through this. So we can really manage many things. And I wonder if this will give us a bit more of a daring nature, to think, okay, well, we've survived this.
Yeah, I absolutely hope so, because I think when we live to what truly matters to us, what we all love, it's like being in a great relationship with somebody when you like really feel happy. And it was just like yesterday, watching YouTube videos about Jim Carrey, who is like absolutely incredible person, and just his like life philosophy is mind blowing. He There was a thought about, well, we might we would rather do something we absolutely love, and if we fail at that, it's one thing. At least we gave a shot at what we love, rather than doing something we don't love, where we have a good chance of failing as well, which can be even more devastating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that we all of us will be more daring just to do what we really love, because I think there is always a way to make living, to make money, by actually doing what we absolutely love. Sometimes it can be scary, but like all of us are scared. I'm like the same way. I'm absolutely scared of certain things, and when you just quit like jobs which gives you like 60% of your income, being like, well, I'll try to figure it out. I would rather figure it out in the next few months. It gives a lot of motivation. You're like, well,
Yeah.
I gotta eat. you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
Time to
I
be very
I
creative.
yeah, I live on cloud nine. So I tend to do things and not think, and then later on I think, well, I'll just have to get through this now because I'm in it. So I think yeah, I think sometimes it's just that thing you have to start and do it, and take the risk, and see what happens.
Yeah, we really live
Mm.
only once. I think it's like certain. That was one of the thoughts I was, kind of like keeping in my mind for like about 2 years, when got a tattoo like on my left arm, memento mori, which is remember about death, which
Mm.
first was like a little over scary meaning to me, just because just thinking about death it was scary. Uh, but at some point, just became like very beautiful thing, which makes the sense, gives meaning to the life at all. And yeah, I think just knowing that we will once just leave the place,
Mm.
and it's very liberating experience. Like I had like in November. Remember like the day time exactly when I just got the thought that I'm absolutely comfortable with my own death, like, and like 100%.
Really.
No matter
Mm.
when it happens, I'm absolutely
Mm.
happy and absolutely comfortable with it. And at that moment, I like literally stopped doing what I was doing. I was just like sat down and was like, wow, I really
Mm.
want to remember that particular moment, because it just gives
Mm.
you so much freedom in making decisions, in living true to yourself. Because yeah, that's the only shot. Not that the only shot, like you
Mm.
have to make it. No, it's just that's the life. It's there
Yeah.
was like another great comparison with life as musical performance. It's beautiful throughout the process. It's when it's happening, that's when it's happening. Like when you play the music, it's like life. It's not like about the end, right? But it's about the process itself. And I think so. I was also like moving these thoughts around. Now,
Mm.
hopefully, that will also affect. Probably a lot of people also thought in a similar way, and I think it
Mm.
will affect the world and generally in a positive way. That time should help us to reflect on ourselves that
Mm.
way.
As somebody said to me in an interview that it will now be something like when we step outside and or when you meet somebody, there will always now be this one common thing that we have, and this is that we lived through this pandemic.
Yeah.
So we of everything we are different, but this one thing is one thing, that this experience is something that we now in the world will all have.
Mhm.
Yeah, which
It's
is interesting if you think of it that way. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how like in every country people would understand this. I think it's
Yeah.
really connects all of us.
Mm. And if you think of it this way, I would never have known of you and spoken to you had it not been for this pandemic. So yeah, that's also a
At least I'm
positive
very
thing for
grateful
me.
for that too. So we got to know each other.
But anyway, thank you so much, Alexander, for sharing this with me again. And it's okay when I post it on YouTube?
Absolutely, yeah. Please
Okay,
feel free.
wonderful. And you will send me all the links that you would like me to put on the description.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
so it was a
Thank you
great
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a lovely, you are now at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have a lovely morning and afternoon.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you, Alexander. Bye.